Hello. Welcome again to Recap House. Subsequent to having their home obliterated, the dinosaurs leave the island and spread across the planet. Presently, people should figure out how to coincide with species that have been terminated for a long period of time. Today we will recap the tale of the 2018 film Jurassic World Fallen Realm. After the calamity that occurred on Island Nublar, a few researchers returned to the site with the mission to gather a DNA test from Indominus Rex, which was hauled into the Mosasaur's tank in a submarine. Two men go looking for the stays of the hereditarily adjusted dinosaur. They can recognize the skeleton. What's more, take out a piece of the bone. They then, at that point, send the example to the surface. Anyway, before they can leave the tank, the Mosasaurus, which everybody accepted to be dead in the wake of investing some energy without taking care of, gobbles up them. That expert who was running the activity attempts to speak with the pair, however, is before long amazed by the presence of T-Rex, who starts to pursue him. Upon seeing that tremendous monster, the group that was in the helicopter attempts to get away. What's more, dispatches a stepping stool to attempt to save their accomplice anyway. Similarly, as the man at last figures out how to get a handle, the dinosaur locks onto the stepping stool and starts to pull the helicopter down with no other elective. One of the group individuals begins to cut the rope, however the last option breaks and they figure out how to get away while flying over the tank. When everybody accepted they were protected, Mosasaur arises from the profundities and eats up his prey. And mid-trip in the news, all the discussion was about the torpid fountain of liquid magma on Island Nublar, which as of late has been renamed as Dynamic. The expectation was that an incredible calamity would occur in a couple of days and would kill the keep-going living dinosaurs in the world. At this point, the inquiry is, do dinosaurs merit the same insurances given to other imperiled species, or should mankind just let them bite the dust? The gatherings were partitioned, some trusting that the well of lava would fix the course of regular history, as the dinosaur ought to have been wiped out a long period of time prior. Others contend that these creatures' lives are all around as important as any other individuals, so they ought to be saved. Claire and different individuals from the dinosaur insurance bunch are important for this second development and will do whatever it takes to save these animals through an authority articulation broadcast on television. They figure out that the American government, after a few thoughts, has chosen not to make any move to salvage the dinosaurs from Isla Nublar. Seconds after the fact, Claire gets a call from the secretary of Benjamin Lockwood, a tycoon who was keen on saving those creatures, and mentioned the lady's assistance in doing so. The following day, Claire heads to Benjamin's house and, after showing up there, is met by Eli Factories, the man answerable for directing Mr. Lockwood's establishment. The man asks her to go with him to a room that was loaded up with dinosaur bones and tells her that even before the island existed, Benjamin Lockwood and John Hammond, the president and maker of Jurassic Park, constructed a lab in the cellar of that manor from where they removed the first fossil DNA. Eli says that Benjamin claims a little plot of land which is intended to oneself maintain normal obstruction safeguarded safe haven to house the dinosaurs. All of a sudden, Mr. Lockwood shows up and states that Hammond's fantasy was to permit these animals to carry on with total freedom and in harmony, without walls and enclosures to detain them. For this reason they made the safe haven at long last. He expresses that Eli will assist her with her main goal, to save those creatures. In Ares returns him to his room as his well-being is extremely delicate. Eli's arrangement was to employ a men to go with Claire to the recreation area where there was a global positioning framework for each dinosaur on that island. On the off chance that they could get to this framework, they would have the option to securely find and catch these creatures. The freight strait permits them to save more than 11 species, among them Blue, who is possibly the second generally smart living being in the world, in the last of her sort anyway. To catch her they would require the assistance of Owen, the just man ready to speak with her. As an outcome, Claire goes on a long outing to get together again with her previous love undertaking. They go out for a brew and talk about why their relationship didn't work out. However, in spite of their disparities, they are still infatuated with one another. As they talk, Owen uncovers that he knows the justification for Claire's visit in light of the fact that Eli has reached him anyway. The dinosaur tamer isn't willing to put his life in danger again to save those animals even, however, he realizes Blue is alive. Upon it is incensed by Owens to hear this Claire's weakness and leaves that evening. He observes a few recordings from when Blue and her kin were still infants, also recalls areas of strength for the he had with her. The following morning, Claire and her group show up at the plane to set out on the mission, and the lady is shocked to understand that Owen is there. Obviously he was unable to stand his intense fellow's position and chosen to gamble with his skin to save a close buddy prior to taking off. The lady presents her collaborators, Zia and Franklin. Both were individuals from the dinosaur security bunch and were there to assist with the mission. When they show up on the island, the gathering is met by Ken Wheatley, the coordinator of the campaign. They immediately set off on their first mission. On the manner in which they hear a commotion and Zia chooses to escape the vehicle to see what it is. As of now, the young lady recognizes a brachiosaurus strolling directly before her. Everybody is charmed by the excellence of the creature. Also, Zia is excited on the grounds that she never figured she would have the option to see one of those creatures so close up. After this episode, the group proceeds with their excursion. What's more, before long show up at the control room so that Claire can help find the dinosaurs. Inside the space of minutes they view as Blue, Zia chooses to go with Owen and the rest of the salvage party. As they move toward their objective, Owen arranges the men to sit tight for his sign. Prior to terminating the soothing, he goes to meet Blue, who quickly takes steps to go after him. Anyway, Owen figures out how to quiet her down. Also, soon they see each other when the dinosaur starts to act amicable. Ken tosses the principal narcotic and encompasses the creature. Feeling compromised, Blue assaults a man who shoots her in the stomach. Right now, Owen stirs his rage and pursues Ken. That the elderly person fights back by hitting him in the chest with a narcotic. Zia hurries to help him, yet understands that she will be the following to be disposed of. To attempt to endure, she says that Blue will pass on the off chance that she doesn't get clinical consideration since she is losing an excessive amount of blood. Since they have caught their prey, the men leave and take Zia alongside them, leaving Owen behind. While Claire and Franklin are in the control room, the fountain of liquid magma starts to eject. As of now, the troopers lock them both inside the room, and they should figure out how to escape before they are inundated by magma. While Owen lies unmoving on the floor, still under the impact of the narcotic, a Sinoceratops approaches him and licks his face. Anyway, the creature doesn't remain for long as the magma is drawing nearer. Defenseless, Owen attempts to try not to be inundated by the magma and powers his body out of the spot until the sedative wears off and he can get up. In the meantime, Franklin and Claire attempt to open the ways to the room anyway. Similarly, as they figured out how to free themselves, a dinosaur shows up and traps them. Now they can never again get out through the fundamental entryway and should rush to get away, since the magma has proactively attacked the room. So Claire chooses to utilize the crisis exit. While attempting to open the entryway, the creature finds them, also nearly eats up Franklin's leg. However, before the most awful could happen, the entryway opens and they figure out how to escape safe. In the midst of the volcanic debris, they track down Owen, running towards them, and behind him, many creatures are running. Difficult to get away from the ejection to try not to be run over by the dinosaurs. They stow away behind a gyrosphere and figure out how to get into the vehicle. The issue is that there is just space for two individuals, and Owen winds up outwardly. Then two dinosaurs begin to battle, and abruptly, T-Rex seems to separate the battle. With every moment, the ejection increments, and they need to move away from the well of lava. Claire and Franklin utilize the gyrosphere to get away, and Owen pursues them. When they arrive at the finish of the island, they wind up tumbling off the bluff and sink into the sea. At that point, the water begins to enter the gyrosphere and the team is caught inside. Similarly, as they were going to lose trust, Owen appears and utilizes a blade to unstick the glass and free his companions. When they show up at the ocean side, the man illuminates them that it was each of the an arrangement, and Eli never truly cared about to save those creatures while searching for a method for getting away alive from that island. Hello, spot a few helicopters conveying dinosaurs to the boat that would very, before long leave that island. As the creatures are being moved, Ken takes benefit of the way that they are calmed and utilizes forceps to pull out a tooth to save for his assortment. The magma is getting increasingly close, and all the undertaking colleagues get on the boat to depart. Right now the triplet sees a valuable chance to escape with their lives. They get into an unwanted truck. What's more, utilize the vehicle to arrive at the boat. At the point when they think back, they can see the island being annihilated and the creatures demolished as they were encircled by the sea. They had no place to run and turned out to be inundated by magma. At the manor, Eli is visited by heavy weapons specialist Eversol, the man liable for putting together the closeout where he planned to sell the dinosaurs Ken caught on Isla Nublar. What he didn't expect was that Maisie was secluded from everything and caught wind of the whole discussion. Next, Eli takes heavy armament specialist to his examination lab and uncovers that he has recruited the best geneticists to make another natural weapon from the Indominus Rex's DNA. Yet, because of Owen Grady's exploration, this new, hereditarily altered species called Indoraptor can follow human orders, making it an ideal weapon for killing. Subsequent to hearing what Eli had said, Maisie goes to her granddad's space to let him know what she has found. Upon hearing the young lady, Benjamin is hesitant to accept that Eli expects to sell the dinosaurs and asks his granddaughter to hit the hay on the boat. Owen and his companions find Zia. The young lady was attempting to treat Blue, yet alone she can't contain the draining brought about by the shot. To carry out the procedure, the young lady needs the blood of one more creature to bond, so Claire and Owen set off on a mission to find another carnivore who could have viable blood to the couple's disaster. The main creature on board that fit the standard Zia set is the T-Rex. The creature is quieted yet could awaken at any second. When Claire sticks the needle into its skin, the creature starts to yield. In the wake of filling the blood sac, the lady figures out how to traverse the confined roof and rushes to open the entryway before her accomplice is squashed. The mission was a triumph. Now they need to get back with the blood so Zia can begin the medical procedure. A couple of moments later, she figures out how to eliminate the shot and stop the draining. Blue is currently no more in danger. In the meantime, in the wake of being overlooked by her granddad, Maisie chooses to break into the lab to do her own examination. She tracks down a video of Owen preparing the child dinosaurs and is dazzled. Abruptly, Eli and Dr. Henry Wu appear and are talking about what occurred to Blue. As per the geneticist, her DNA is the way to making Indoraptor have qualities like compassion, devotion, and submission. The current Indoraptor model has none of these elements, so it is totally shaky and inconsistent. While strolling through the research center, Maisie attempts to stow away until she gets near an enclosure that was concealed in that place. As the young lady moves toward the creature inside, loosens up its hooks to assault her anyway. She figures out how to understand the danger in time and starts to shout. At this time, the young lady is found by Eli, who takes her to her room and locks her inside. He then, at that point, orders Ares to keep the entryway locked, and the lady illuminates him that Benjamin wishes to talk with him. At the point when he shows up at Mr. Lockwood's room, the elderly person curses him for what he is doing and arranges him to get the telephone and talk actually to the police. Be that as it may, rather, Eli takes the cushion and utilizes it to cover Benjamin. When they show up in dry land, the couple should take a truck to attempt to leave. Without being found, they follow the different vehicles to find out where those men are taking the dinosaurs and soon find that the last objective is Mr. Lockwood's chateau. Once there, the specialists empty the creatures into new enclosures. As they are going to show up at the chateau several tracks down a street that would take them to the closest town and plan to go there to find support. However, Ken appears and figures out how to stop them. The man takes them to an enclosure, and afterward Eli seems he says that he needs to apologize for including Claire and Owen in that particular situation. However, it was the, as it were, way he could catch Blue. Plainly, the several won't uphold that madness. What's more, Eli means to stop them if anybody asks. The man would agree that they consumed to death on the island. The sell-off is about going to start, and from the overhang, Maisie sees the many visitors showing up at the manor. The young lady figures out how to get through the window and goes to her granddad's space to caution him about what's going on. When she gets there, she finds that the man is dead. Eli appears soon, increasingly aft, taking the book from her granddad. The young lady conceals in the food lift. From that point, the young lady hears Eli calling Aries. He illuminates her regarding Mr. Lockwood's demise and requests that she secure another position anyway. Aries would rather not leave Maisie. She has really focused on the young lady and her mother since they were children and wishes to keep accomplishing this work anyway. Eli states that Maisie is presently under his guardianship and flames Aries. While paying attention to the discussion, the youthful young lady opens her granddad's book and tracks down an image of her mom close to Aries. Right then and there she understands that she is an indistinguishable duplicate of her mom. What's more, this leaves her dazed. In the enclosure, Claire notices a triceratops then enters the manor looking for Eli to accept his installment for his administration. At this opportunity he runs over Indoraptor. What's more, chooses to toss a few sedatives on him. When the creature passes out, Ken enters the enclosure to get one of its teeth. Anyway, the dinosaur was not calm. The truth is that he was professing to have been pushed over to occupy the man. By the time Ken acknowledges what he has done, it is past the point of no return. The Indoraptor snatches his arm and scams it in a solitary nibble. It then eats up the remainder of the man's body. After seeing the assault, heavy armament specialist runs to the lift and the dinosaur runs after him anyway before the beast can contact them. The entryway's close and heavy armament specialist inhales a murmur of help. What nobody expected was that the Indoraptor would figure out how to annihilate the framework as it does. So the entryways open once more and the monster gobbles up everybody inside. In the meantime, the several attempts to escape with Maisie, however, is come by Eli and his gatekeepers. Seeing that the young lady would rather not remain under his guardianship, the man uncovers that Benjamin never had a granddaughter. Maisie is just a hereditary clone of his little girl who had passed on in a auto crash. Subsequent to saying this, Indoraptor shows up and eats up the watches, so Claire and Owen take the chance to escape with the young lady in the lab. Henry arranges his representatives to take all the examination materials and transport them out of the chateau. Prior to leaving, the man plans to take a blood test from Blue while he converses with Zia Franklin, who up to that point had been covert. Takes the narcotic. What's more, utilizes it to take the specialist out. The kid figures out how to release the young lady's cuffs. However, a few watchmen seem to stop them from getting away from then. Zia opens the confines so Blue can go after them. During the battle, one of the safety officers coincidentally shoots the hydrogen cyanide tanks, causing a huge blast. The poisonous gas starts to spread all through the house, and on the off chance that it comes to the control region, the dinosaurs would be killed by harming in the fossil room. The triplet takes cover behind the skeleton of a Sinoceratops, trying to toss Indoraptor off. However, the creature has a strong nose and figures out how to detect them. They rush to the subsequent floor and are gone after while climbing the steps. Anyway, Maisie knows all the mystery entries in the manor, and the triplet figures out how to conceal the arrangement. It doesn't work for a really long time, and the creature before long figures out how to find them in the midst of the rubble. Claire attempts to help Maisie departure and winds up having her leg punctured by the dinosaur's hook. When Indoraptor understands that the young lady has gotten away from, he pursues her frantic. The young lady gets into the wooden lift, goes to her room and stows away under the sweeping. In the interim, Owen attempts to assist Claire with really focusing on her physical issue. The lady requests that he pursue the young lady and guarantees him that she will be fine. Minutes after the fact, the beast figures out how to move onto the rooftop and strolls toward Maisie's room. The animal gradually opens the gallery entryway and strolls over to the bed where the little kid is lying. Just as he was going to eat up it, Owen shows up and begins taking shots at that beast. Anyway, the shots don't stand the test of time long, and he is totally unprotected against that thing. All of a sudden, Blue shows up and assaults Indoraptor. This permits Owen to delay to escape with Maisie, yet they turn out to be thumped down while attempting to get to the next side of the house. Trying to get away from that hunter, they move up on the bias-based impediment of the room where the dinosaur fossils are put away board, and the creature pursues them. Indoraptor moves gradually so as not to break the glass, and before he could arrive at the pair, Claire shows up and draws his consideration to the contrary side. She utilizes the laser to stamp Owen as the objective and soon after initiates the acoustic sign to make the dinosaur assault him. The man is adequately fast to avoid an Indoraptor closes up, breaking the glass before it falls. Anyway, the creature sticks to the metal, radiates and figures out how to hold tight. This would destroy the couple in the event that Blue didn't make an appearance to show that beast a thing or two. She hops on top of Indoraptor and they both fall a couple of meters. Anyway, the beast has its body penetrated by the horns of the Agujaceratops skeleton that was simply beneath it and winds up biting the dust. Minutes after the fact, Franklin and Zia appear. Furthermore, report that they couldn't contain the hydrogen cyanide scattering. The harmful gas arrived at the dinosaurs' control site and in no time would cause their passing. Claire then chooses to open the entryways of the enclosures. Furthermore, plans to free those creatures. This would make them free in civilization and put the existences of millions of individuals at risk. So despite the fact that Claire is devastated, she chooses not to open the primary entryway. Yet Maisie can't acknowledge just watching the dinosaurs kick the bucket on the grounds that just like her they were alive and in torment. Despite the fact that they were made in a lab, from this point forward these dinosaurs are free and should figure out how to live with people and different creatures. Seeing these animals moving toward Eli stows away under a vehicle and nearly gets squashed. When he thinks he is protected, he emerges from his concealing spot yet is shocked by the appearance of T-Rex, which right away gobbles up him. Owen and his group then, at that point, leave as of now the house and track down Blue. She expresses farewell to her companion and leaves since she will not be confined again. Now people should get ready for another period and should figure out how to live in an existence where they are at this point not the top of the pecking order. So what was your take of this film? Leave it in the remarks beneath, and if you have liked the video, please like and subscribe. More recaps.